What's good? Ramon Carter here with Gut Check, man. Hope everybody's having a great weekend and a great week. Today, I just want to start to dive a little bit deeper. You know, the book is out right now, Gut Check, and it's pretty much a manual, right, on how to train your mindset and how to apply certain concepts that will lead you to discover your authentic identity and to begin to walk in the vision for your life. And what I want to do here and what I'll probably do for the rest of the year will be I'll dive in a little bit deeper into the concepts of the book and pull us along the track so we get some actionable and applicable steps to do what we got to do. First off, we have to start with thinking, how you think. You've always heard me say that your life will follow the path of your most dominant thinking. You've heard me talk about lack and as opposed to an abundance mindset. You've heard me talk about having a mastermind, which is seeing the vision and the purpose of your life, even through tough times, even through adverse situations, that you have to hold that vision crystal clear in the forefront of your mind. You have to know how to see. You have to know how to see. See is an acronym that my mentor uses a lot. And what it means is systems, effort, and execution. Systems, effort, and executions. And what that means is that successful people, top people, they understand systems. They understand patience. They understand the system of mentoring. They understand the system of coaching. They understand the system of, being humble and always being a learner. And whereas I find that people who are necessarily not at the top of the game, not where they want to be, they don't want to have coaching. They don't stick to a system, right, that will pull them and take them to the next level. So C is a great way to describe the vision because it's an acronym that denotes seeing, and we're talking about vision. And we're talking about, at this point, we're talking about thinking. We're talking about supreme thinking. How do you think supremely? And it starts with quiet. It starts with one-on-one. It starts with you drowning out the minutia of everyday life and taking time each day, at least an hour each day, to have quiet, thoughtful time by yourself. For me, it's prayer time, right? For some, they may call it meditation, but what it is it's tapping into that small, still voice that emanates from within you. In the book, I talk about 3 voices that plague us, the small, still voice being one of those voices. And as a matter of fact, I'll read a little excerpt and then we'll get into this thing. All right, gut check. The first step in keeping the vision in front of your emotions is to differentiate the internal forces that drive you. Now, I'm no psychiatrist or psychologist, but through experience, I've found that there are 3 voices within that we allow to influence our thoughts, emotions, and therefore our actions. These 3 voices are 1, loud and negative, 2, confused and common, and the still and small voice. Recognizing these voices and the part they play in your decision-making process is the first step. It's going to take practice to discern the internalized voices. Now, in the book, I go in to the voices and what they mean and what they do and how to, combat against them and how to use them to propel yourself forward. But the voice that is the voice of your authentic self, the voice that is the voice that's going to drive you and push you and propel you, and that's going to have the information and things that you need, is the small, still voice, right? And when you take quiet time each day to just think, right? Think with a pad and a paper. It's called intentional thinking. And you sit down and what you ask yourself is a question. It can be any question. It can be how to take your business to the next level. It can be, what is your purpose? What is your destiny? It can be, you have 3 or 4 things that you want to do. What's the first thing? And you ask that question, you pose that question, and then you are silent. And you allow yourself to hear that small, still voice. And as you hear things, you just write them down. I'll give you an example. I'm just like, most of you. I have 3 or 4 things that I would love to accomplish in my lifetime. And I've been working on Gut Check for a while, but I also have some other aspirations and some other avenues that I wanted to take, that I still want to take. And I understand that you can't multitask. Multitask is and it will give you average results. You have to master something, and then once you master something and that thing is able to run of its own volition, then you can move on to the next thing. So I'm not saying that you can't do multiple things or have multiple areas of greatness in your life, but you have to understand that trying to multitask to greatness is never going to work. You have to focus on one thing at a time. Get to a level of excellence. Get to a level of mastery. When you get to that point, the momentum of that thing will begin to almost run itself. Then you can divert your efforts. You can divert your energies to the next thing. And so I sat down with a pen and a paper and I had my quiet time, and the small, still voice within me resonated and said that gut check was the first endeavor, that sharing this message was the first endeavor, and that all the other endeavors would come in time and would be ancillary to the gut check message. And so then I moved forward. And what happened was a lot of the pressure, a lot of the stress, a lot of the strain melted away from me. Why? Because I dealt with supreme thinking. Another thing you have to realize that when you're listening to the small, still voice, it's going to tell you some things that to you seem outrageous, to you that seem just too big and too humongous for yourself. That's how you know you're on the right track. If you can do something under your own power, then it's not going to be something that's great. It's not going to be something that's heroic and iconic. It always has to be something that you need help with. It always has to be something that you have to grow into. It's always going to be something that you're not the person at the very moment to pull it off, but you're going to become that person. And that's how you know you're dealing with greatness. That's how you know you're dealing with chain breaking endeavors that are going to lead you to live your wildest dreams and help serve mankind at a high level. So the first thing you have to understand that the key to supreme thinking is quiet time. It's alone time. It's prayer. It's meditation. It's doing it with the mind towards knowing that you're going to write down the things that you hear from that small, still voice, right? You're going to have your pen. You're going to have your pad. You may have a cup of coffee. It may be in the morning before people wake up. It may be in the evening when everyone is asleep, but it's a time when it's just you. It's a time when it's just you with your inner thoughts, where you're connected with the infinite that's inside of you. It's a time when you're really, really, really connected and in tune with your authentic self. And when you write down these things, understand that you may not quite yet be the person that's going to pull them off. Yeah, you're going to need some coaching. You're going to need some mentoring. You're going to need some practice. You're going to need some training. But I guarantee you it's going to lead you to the end that you desire. And the first thing you have to understand about thinking supremely is that you have to have that one time with yourself. You have to have that quiet time, that place of prayer or meditation. And that is the first step. The first step to understanding your authentic identity. The first step to understanding who it is that you were called to be and what it is you're meant to do is being able to hear the small, still voice and whittle down all the other voices around you. There's something that seeks to come out of you. There's a desire that you have, right? There's a potential that you have. And once you hear that, once you understand that, then you can be able to build the vision for that. Then you can begin to imagine towards the end of that. And that's what we'll talk about in part 2. In part 2, we'll talk about the belief of the small, still voice. Now you've heard the small, still voice. Now you've written down some things and you understand where it is you want to go. And now there's another level of supreme thinking that's involved with that. But the first step to supreme thinking is quiet time, alone time. It's calculated thinking, right? You're not just going to be looking out the window wistfully. You're going to have your pen. You're going to have your paper. You're going to be trying to write down the things that you hear so that you have an understanding of what it is that wants to come out of you, what it is that resonates with you, right? What it is that's going to push you and propel you to the next level. And all these things are going to be based around your skills. It's going to be based around your talent. It's going to be based around your interests, and it's going to be based around who you were designed to be. You might not yet be that person, but you're designed to be that person. And so that small, still voice is going to pull you. It's going to tug you. It's going to push you towards an end that you will be who you dream of becoming. Listen, as always, I want to thank you guys for this time, and I leave you with these 3 thoughts. Think abundance, focus on growth, create, never compete. Thanks, and God bless.